Well, first of all, hello everyone, and thanks for tuning in to another morning chat. This one's coming from our gym. Now, the other ones didn't want to be on camera and they've already left, and these are the brave ones who have said, yes, we'll be on this morning chat. And isn't it nice to actually come together for the chat stuff? You've been regulars, haven't you? You're the regulars in the morning. So many others have joined us and keep on coming. What are your impressions on gym as we've started now? This is now how many times now that we've done it? A month or two?
A month, I think.
Yeah, a month. So it's still new. And what are your impressions? What would you like to share, everyone who's sort of thinking about coming or maybe haven't heard about it yet?
Over to you, Christine.
Well, it's nice to reflect on the sermon on Sunday. It's good to talk about and flesh out some of those things. But for me, I don't think that's the most important reason that I come. For me, it's about connection with other people, and so it's just really nice to connect, meet new people, connect, become part of a community of that we're in this church. So
I would agree with you. I just enjoy talking to people and listening to their backgrounds, listening to their thoughts, laughing. I love having a bit of a laugh, which we always tend to do.
Good.
Yeah, and just meeting people. So
Yeah, people seem to share a lot, and it's good because then you get to know where people are at and how they're going, and sometimes people just comes up and there's an answer, and sometimes it's just you look at the problem and like talking about the open door before, so it gives us an opportunity to pray for something that's going to be in the future.
And as a newbie to the church, I've just found it's so welcoming. I have felt included from the day I first arrived. It's we laugh so much in gym. I just absolutely love coming, and apart from the spiritual stuff that you get out of it as well, it's a great place to come.
Isn't it wonderful? I mean, we've covered now, just in your reflections, it's a great place to actually listen and talk about the sermon again, because so often we're just sitting in church, we listen to it, then we go away. But here is a good time to actually, let's dig into that a bit, and we've got questions and we can find out a bit more from each other. We learn a little bit more about each other, and it's a great place, young and old, new and a seasoned traveller.
Easy on the old there.
Yeah, well, I'm the young, you're the old. But see, we're already started the banter. But the thing is that, isn't it a nice place that you can come to and say, hey, this is a place that is welcoming. I can talk about stuff. I can open up. I can learn. I can discover new things. And yes, the fact that we always laugh and have a lot of joy is building that community and building that pastoral care, because sometimes we check in with each other. And even Christine today was saying, I met this Syrian guy, and we were sort of thinking about, he's a Christian, he's a refugee, but he doesn't have a place. And so it becomes a prayer point, and we're speaking into that. So we're not alone with our little world. We're actually starting to share it. And I just find that amazing that we've got this going now, both at 10 o'clock on Thursdays and as well at the evening, because many can't come during the day. They'll come at night. What would you say if you were to sort of say, look, like Edgar sometimes says, any testimonies that come, and you come up forward and then you speak into the life of the congregation a little bit, what would you say that they're missing out on by not being here? Take the opportunity, either in the morning or at night, come along. Would that be something that you'd say, you're missing out, or would you say, no, stay home?
I wouldn't say that. I'd say to come, because I've enjoyed it, even though I don't say much. I've learnt a lot, and I enjoy the company and the people I've got to know. Yeah, I really have. So it's worthwhile.
And in church you feel a little intimidated in front of so many people. Well, here you're just part of a small group, and it's just a loving group. And you're not going to be judged. You're not going to be looked down upon. You can have your say, even though you wish you'd zipped it in the first place. But you can have your say, and you know that you've been accepted. And
So you can actually ask any kind of questions, can't you?
Absolutely.
The new age ones.
I'm not going to live any of this down, am I?
I think one thing that the Lord's been challenging me about as being part of a congregation, a community of people, is commitment. And I've decided to make this group to be committed to this group. And I feel really good about that because it's great, but it's something that I have to learn to do. You know, we don't always see commitment as something important, but it is, and it's something that we have to learn to do. So I would challenge anybody out there to come along and make it a commitment. Commit some time. Yeah.
That's a good segue into maybe the last point. We've been exploring Tatiana's sermon on favoritism. And if you were to say now the last thought I want to share with everybody listening in, what would you say that we chewed the fat over and talked about this particular gem was what I got out of all of this? Even for just for today, what was it? Keep going. Because yours commitment, but it was like you also sort of said that that it's favour on the fact that it doesn't matter what you're actually being through, you kind of like knew that God has got you.
Yes. So yes, just that that steady constancy of knowing that that I'm one of God's favourites. It doesn't matter often what I do, that has consequences obviously, but I know deep in my heart that I am one of God's favourites, and that always draws me back to the Father. Yeah.
And that drawing back to the Father is what you were talking about, the calling, listening to what God is calling in us into that relationship. And that in that relationship we have favour. Did you want to share? Last thought? The last thought. Sonia, you've got the floor.
I think, I just talking about being a favourite, I just agree with Christine. And I think we were able to really draw it out today. And actually, I think we all came away feeling, as Tatiana said, that we are favoured. We are favoured by God, and that, as a church and as individuals, we want to step into that favour and see what God will do with it.
That's an awesome finish to the thought. So have a great day, everyone. Tune in and spread the word. JYM is on Thursdays. Come along. All right, bye, everyone.
Bye.
No.